So come talk about project overview. The project developed a daily task manager web app using Fast API and Next.js. User can efficiently manage tasks by adding, editing, and deleting them with notifications for upcoming deadline. Account can be created via registration or Google Authentication. The Next.js-based UI ensures a responsive, seamless experience across devices, while Fast API enable real-time data handling. Additional features like task categorization, priorities setting, and calendar view using sort algorithm and may further enhance productivity and organize daily tasks. So this is our requirement. We got tasks that can create tasks, sorting tasks, or see all the tasks. Experience across different device navigation bar. Authentication, which had Google login, manual login logout, and user registration and sign up. User management and security hosting, password, local storage, encryption, admin feature, and Google login. User account, which user can see first data that they registration to this application, and user can change their username and email. Due date notification and calendar.
Algorithm that we use. The first one is time calculation. It calculates remaining task time by subtracting current time from due date. Linear search algorithm. It finds matching category, priority, and CSS based on provided IDs. Count by field algorithm. It counts tasks based on field using loop and dictionary. Selection sort. It finds minimum element in unsorted arrays and swap it with first unsorted element. Lastly, merge sort. It divides input array into half, sort each half, and merges them to produce a sorted array. The database design we have made will have 9 tables. The first one will start with users, represent an individual user with a username, email, password, and some additional attributes. Category represent category that tasks can be grouped into. Task represent an individual task created by users with detail like title, description, due date, and importance. Login history track user login event including time, date, day, month, year, and weekdays. Priority represent the priority level of a task, for example, urgent, high priority, and low priority. Weekdays represent days of the week to record which day a login event happened. Status represents the status of a task, such as ongoing, completed, or abandoned. The another two table is which we will do in the future. These include tag, represent tag that can be associated with tasks, allowing for flexible labeling. And lastly, task tag, a join table that implement a many-to-many relationship between task and tag.
So next is about the flowchart. So starting with get all user data pattern files. So it's starting with the import library, and it will call the API and the pedantic model for the task response. And if the request from the front end is matched, it will call the certain functions. So starting with the get task functions, first it will input the parameters and it will pull the data from the database and set up the status. And it will run the loops in all the tasks and to insert their own data like the create date, the delay status, and the status ID, category IDs, priority IDs. And after they run all the tasks, it will exit the loop and go to the filters. So this will filter the task by the title, the categories, the status, the priority, and if there no title match the filter, it will no task match the given filter. And this also can sorting by the due date, and it also can reverse by all the task list. And next is the complete task functions. So in this function, starting with the parameters and pull the data from the database, and if there are no tasks, it will say task not found, and after that it will set up the status. And if the status of the task it's not complete or delay or late or abandoned, it will say required status not found. And if the status are abandoned or late, it will say abandoned cannot be complete. And if the task display as delay, it will change the status to late and update the database. But if it's not, it will update as complete. Next is the abandon task function. Starting with the parameters, first it will pull the data from the database, and if it's not, it will display task not found. After that, it will set up the status, and if it's not abandoned status or late status or not complete, it will say required status not found. And if the status is late or status is complete, it will say that abandoned task cannot be abandoned because it's late or complete. And if the task is abandoned, it will say the task is already abandoned. And if it's not, the task will change into the complete to the abandoned status. Next is about the search by title. First, it will set up the parameters, and then it will run the loop in all tasks. And if the title in the task is matched, it will append. Also, the same as other searching or a filter function, only change the option, like the changing from title to the status to the category and to the priority. Also in this file we have the selection source function, merge sort function, merge function too. So next is the create task Python file. So it's starting with the import library and set up the API and a Pendentic model for task response. And if the request from the front end is matched, it will call create task functions. So if in the create task functions, first it will set up the parameters, a task and a database. And next it will pull the data from the database, and it will run the loop in the categories. And if there is the categories, it will insert the categories. And if it not, it will skip. Next, it will start the loop for the priorities. And if there is a priorities, it will insert the priorities. And if not, it will skip the loop. And next is the loop for status. As the same, if there is status, it will insert the status. And if it not, it will exit the loop. So if the task is no categories, priorities or status, it will say that invalid categories, priorities or status. And if it's not, it will insert the due date. After that, it's will finish, set up, create a new task in the database and put into the database and prepare the response with the separate dates and time and return response task. So next is the due today Python 5. So we're starting with the import library and set up the API and define the dependency models for API response. And if the request from an each match, it will load the function get group task. So for the function of the get group task, first it will set up the parameters and it will pull the data from the database to the task, and it will create the group task as 1 day left and 1 week left, and they will run all tasks in task. This is checking if the due date in task. If it's not, it will return to the loop. So if there's due date, it will insert the time remaining and the day remaining, and if the time remaining is less than 1 day, it will group as a 1 day left and display the time remain. And if it's not, it will enter here. And if the day the time remains is less than 7 days, it will group as 1 week left and display the time remain. After that, it will return to the loop, and if it exits the loop, it will return the group task. So next is the dashboard Python 5. So we're starting with the import library, and then it set up the API, and if the response from the front end is matched with the backend, it will call the get task overview functions. So the get task overview functions, first it will set up the parameters as a user ID and the database, and next it will insert the data to the task, category, priorities, and status counts. After that, it will return the total task and the task list as categories, priorities, and status. And that's Python 5 also provide the get all tasks to pull all the data for the all tasks, and also the count task by field to count all the tasks, and also the merge sorts, merge, and also the search by title. So next is the default choice Python 5. So it's starting with the import library and set up the API, and then define the dependency models for API response. After that, if the request from the front end is matched, it will call the certain function. So the first function is to get categories. So first it will set up the parameters based on the database, and then they will pull the data from database to the categories. So if not or no categories, it will display the no category found with status 4, and if it's a categories, it will return the categories. Other functions is also act the same, but change from the categories to priorities, statuses, and weekdays. So next is the calendar.py. So it's starting with the import library and set up the API, and then it will define the dependency model for the task response, and if the request from the front end is matched with the backend, it will load the get task functions. So the get task functions, first it will set up the parameters, and it will pull the database to data to the all task, and it will linear search the all tasks to insert into the user task, and if they're not user task or the user task not found, it will display the full code with the no task found for this user, and if it's found the user task, it will return the user task.
And this is our application, the welcome page with the welcome text and the button login and register. For the new user, let's go to register page. User can enter their name, their email, their password. They can show or hide. The password must be strong with 8 characters, one uppercase, at least one lowercase, special character, and the number. If registered successfully, it will show here. Let's see the database. Here, the new user. For the user, there is only one admin, which is me. Let's go back. If they go to the login page and not have the account, they can go to the register. Then for the login, there is 2 ways. First is manual login and sign in with Google. Let's start with the manual login. You can see the password. When user login, I will collect the timestamp. Here, with the user ID, login ID, time, day, month, year, and weekday. Weekday is the 7 days in a week. Let's say this is 5. Show Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay, and this is the home page. We have a new button. Can go display home page. Go to see the tags. We click on this button. With the tags and the setting. See the account, contact support, pages, display setting. With the custom cursor on the dark mode. Yeah, they can change the dark mode or light mode here. Let's see the user account. They can update their name, the username, and the email. Let's say user S. If user updated, it will show here for the email. And they will show that the create date and time of this account. Okay. And this is all the normal user can see. Let's log out. Okay. When login, it will create the local storage item here. I will use my account admin, sign with Google. When login, it will show the user ID that encrypted, encrypted in token. Okay. And in the home page, it will show the task that we do this day. There is a task that we do in 2 hours and 8 minutes. And in this week, we have a task that name we do with description that we do in 1 day, the time, almost 24 hours. Okay, let's try to create a new task. Oh, before that, I will show the update user first. Let's say that the email is updated. When create text, we show they can enter the text title, description, category from the database. Let's say it's a homework, priority from the database too. is create the due date at 20. Mark it as reported. We show here. And then we can view all the tasks. I set the default on this page to status ongoing. And you can see all the text here. Okay, let's start first. Okay, the ongoing task. If we click the correct button, it will say this task is complete, and we cannot abandon it or delete it. Yeah, and in another way, if I delete it or abandon it, it cannot be complete anywhere. Okay, now we know the three status about the ongoing, abandoned, and complete. Let's say what is late. Let's say due yesterday. Okay, yeah, when you complete it, I complete this task, so it's not show anymore. Okay, let's do all tasks. Okay, let's say this is the delay. Yeah, the list tag decision late due yesterday is delayed. If I abandon it, it will show the abandoned status, but if I click that, it will show late. Show all. You can sort it by using the text ID and see it in order on the reverse order. Like the title, B come before L and L come before T. And prioritize by the uppercase and middle case. For the due date, yeah, the 11 come before 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 30, 31. Can check this reversely and can see auto category. If I want to say personal with complete status with urgent, I can sort it like this. If we don't have, it will not show anymore. And user can see the dashboard. With the total task and the complete task. What the missing is a delay. It's not show here, so it don't have. Let's create one. All these fields are required except the description. For the text, for this dashboard, we show the set, the chart of the distribution by category, homework, personal, exercise, and project. Also by priority, urgent priority, high priority, medium priority, and the status, late, complete, abandoned, and ongoing. And show the day and time running. And we have the calendar. Let's show the task in each day and see its detail here. You can see it by month, by week, by day. No task due this day. Oh, have one. And the agenda. Okay, with the admin, they can manage the user by their name, show all, username, sort by user ID, username, create date, or admin status. can delete the user. Say user, okay, wait, delete this. See the DB, it will disappear. For me, the username is 2. We update it. Then it will be this. And you can see the login history. We will show all the login history in this day. So the chart of the login count by day or login count by month. That is all. This is our database. Categories. Login history. Priorities. Status. Task. User. Weekday. We plan to use the text and task tag in the future to make the user can indicate text by themselves. And for the code of algorithm, for the page of all text, we use all text data.py here. The selection sort, the sort, and linear search. Also the all user data. This is for the admin to manage the user. The calendar. The create text. Linear search for the text. Filter. Adding text. And for the dashboard, to merge source. And this is for the retrieve data from the categories, priorities, status, also weekday. And for you today, show that the work that you do this day or this week by using the dictionary and list. After all, this application, the main function are usable, but it still have some bug. We will update it in GitHub, so it will have the better performance. And also, we plan to use the tags, the text tag and the tag, so the user can edit that tag by themselves, and it will be like to normalize the tags. Thank you for your attention.